Okay, hello everyone. Um, Back again with me, Debora Imanuella. I'm the Senior Vice President of Community and Esports Global. And in this special occasion, we're going to have a very, very interesting talk show or slash webinars. Build your future in esports scene. It's more than just a game. In conjunction with UniPin 12 birthday anniversary. So 12 years is definitely not a short time. So as we all know that there are lots of things happening behind the scene, and there's more beyond competitive scene when it comes to opportunities. And we, UniPin, committed to give the opportunities and also to educate the community about the esports industry as a whole. And also, we would like to know more about the roles behind esports and gaming industry. It is definitely a promising industry with lots of unpack, growing demands, and also opportunities. It has a flexible and also diverse career path. You will listen to those speakers and just listen to their stories when they're, jump into the scene and experience different career paths in the industry itself, from management, marketing, content creation, and even organizer. The possibilities are endless. Even with so much possibilities, why there's still skepticism towards this industry? I think we all know that there are still lots of negative stigma, right? So is it really a sustainable industry, and how do we actually pursue our interest or passion here? So with me, we already have three amazing speakers, esports superstars from around the globe. They're all my good friends. So first of all, I'm going to introduce you to Nimish. So Nimish Raut is my good friend. So he is working in Nodwin Gaming. So Nodwin is one of the biggest esports organizer from India, and I actually met him during my trip to India as well. And we also have Nail, aka Midnight. So Midnight is his stage or caster name. And he's also very famous among the Mobile Legends community as well. And last but not least, we have Zoey. Zoey, also my very good friend. She is currently working in GosuGamers. So if you're a true gamers, you must know GosuGamers because it is the longest, oldest gaming outlets in the world. So yeah, I'm going to let them introduce themselves first. And hello, Nimish. How are you? I know right now it's 4 a.m. in Chicago, and thank you so much for taking your time to be here. I know you're somewhere on the road, right?
Yeah.
With your motorcycle. Can you even turn on your camera?
I won't be able to turn on the camera because it kind of messes with the connectivity. But I will try. As soon as I reach home, I will try and put the camera on. But I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be here, and it's always a pleasure to talk to people from the esports industry. Been fortunate that I've always worked in sport, and I've been in esports for the last maybe 8-9 years now, and happy to meet everyone else on the call as well, and look forward to this chat.
All right, so Nimish, tell us about your background. Like, why are you right now like in esports scene? Like what are you doing here, and why do you choose esports industry as your career right now?
Well, I think I was maybe also lucky in a way. I was in the right place at the right time, but I've always worked in competitive sport all my life, and when around 2012 I got introduced to a game called League of Legends, and I kind of got hooked onto it, and suddenly realized that there is a lot of similarity between mainstream sports and esports, not just from a player perspective or from an emotion perspective, but even like the way it's organized or the way it's managed. So I kind of decided very early that when India kind of wakes up to the revolution in some capacity. I'll be the first one to make the shift. And then, of course, my experience in mainstream sports helped a lot in multiple aspects. So whether it's sponsorship servicing, whether it's broadcast, whether it's how to kind of organize it in a competitive manner and then turn it into a product that can actually be monetized. And that's where I am right now. My job pretty much is to turn esports products into media products so that they have a long-term value, and it's not just about getting a sponsor on board for a tournament, but literally like trying to basically try to compete with other entertainment products that whether it's a Netflix or whether it's a live sport property, that's what we compete with now, right? So yeah, that's where I am, and that's why this job is so interesting, because it's exactly like working in any other sports industry.
Okay, how much do you love your job?
Honestly, I have a tattoo of all the video games that I play on my arm. I can't show right now, but and I guess for the last 8 years, I've never felt like I go to work. So that's how much I love my job.
Okay, thank you so much, Nimesh. I think there are like some guests who hasn't forgot to turn on their voice. I think I would like our admin to help checking all those guests who just joined the Zoom and mute them, please. Okay, thank you so much. All right, so that's Nimesh for you guys. So next we have Nail, aka Midnight. So Nail, I know that you've been doing lots of things as well in esports, right? And now you're here on the stage, becoming the superstar during every Mobile Legends games, right? Who doesn't know you in the community, especially in the PH Mobile Legends esports scene. So yeah, tell us what's your background and why do you choose this path, and why do you choose esports? Because you know, like, it's an immature industry, right? As we all know.
Yeah.
I don't know how sustained is this, right? So tell us your story.
It's an interesting one, because I didn't think that I would be in this industry like before. I used to be just going around places. I used to be a freelancer, a videographer. I was also an IT student, and I was really hooked into gaming, like big time. I was a huge Dota 2 fan. Even looked forward into playing with some of these big organizations, because I was a player that were climbing the leaderboard. So I really was a gamer at my core. Like I wanted to be a professional esports athlete. At the time, there was no like literal term for it. I just wanted to play the game. I wanted to be good at it. But life takes you in different situations, and I was fortunate enough to be able to work with multiple international and local organizations such as Mineski here in the Philippines. And being a freelancer, I got into some of the works that they were doing for their clients. And I actually got into casting, which is my primary job right now in esports. I got into casting because they needed a coach, like an esports player coach, to coach their talent, to coach their caster for a broadcast. And after that, things started falling into pieces, falling into their places. And their talent manager hired me as a freelance talent for Mineski TV, and that's where I got my my career started in esports. And being a jack of all trades kind of guy, I dipped my feet into different places, like back end, front end. I did production, I did a lot of stuff, content creation. So it is an interesting industry, because at its core, it's it's a startup, it's young, it's relatively new, and a lot of opportunities are still present, and a lot of the scenarios that are present in esports right now give you a head start of building a huge foundation for such a massive industry. And I think that's where I get my motivations from. Like, we are the pioneers of this industry, even though it has been here for a long time, but compared to like big industries altogether, like sports, it is relatively young, so we can still put our footprint, like being an astronaut, getting your footprint on the moon. It's big, and I think it's a promising industry, and I want to be able to get that mark there, get that footprint on our moon, right? Because esports is basically our moon, so that's where my motivations come from.
Oh wow, amazing! So from an avid gamer turned into a caster finally, right? And then you've been doing so many things as well, and you've been in the industry as well, including the event organizer and even media, right? You used to work for GosuGamers as well, right? So yeah, that's awesome. So next we have Zoey. So Zoey also have been in esports for quite a while as well, right? And I always happy, sorry, I'm not feminist, okay? But I'm always happy every time I meet a girl or women in industry. The reason is because they're super rare, right? Please tell me yes. But yeah, it is super rare for me to meet women who work behind the scene in the esports industry as well. So Zoey here, she's been helping me doing and supporting lots of my initiatives towards the female gamers in esports, trying to help the industry become more inclusive as well. And when we're talking about GosuGamers has been in a space for the longest time. I know, like, for you Dota players, you will definitely know GosuGamers because they invest and they cover heavily on Dota before, but now they started to change more into lots of different games as well, right, Zoey? Okay, so Zoey, tell us your story and how could you be in this industry and why?
Okay, so hi everyone, I'm Zoey. I'm based in Singapore, currently the Senior Content and Marketing Manager of GosuGamers. So funnily enough, prior to joining the esports industry, I was actually from the beauty and cosmetic FMCG industry. So, and all along for myself, since education days, I have been studying marketing. Even when I was in different industries, I've been doing marketing all the time. I started playing esports game titles about slightly more than 10 years ago, and my very first esports game title that I played is actually Dota 2. So I used to be that fan of Dota 2 that really enjoying hitting down to events, buying, purchasing my own tickets to, fly to other countries to attend tournaments in person. And one day I felt like while sitting in the arena, I felt how cool would it be if I get to work behind the scenes, work in esports and combine my skills such as marketing in an industry that I am passionate about, in an area that I have a lot of interest in. And that was when I realized to, take the career switch, explore something that, I never thought I would be doing 10 years ago, which is to, kickstart my career in the esports industry. So how it all started was, in Singapore, there are not as many esports opportunities back then. So the first company I joined was actually in the esports industry was actually FSL, which is a female esports league. They started with grassroots initiatives to create female tournaments for girls, women, through various game titles like Dota 2, MLBB, Valorant, and more. So currently, FSL, during my time there, towards the end when I was there, Riot Games actually awarded them to be the official tournament operator for VCT Game Changers APAC region. So I did have my chance of an opportunity to work on boosting the whole women gaming scene in APAC region, especially for Valorant itself. At the same time that year, I was also Yahoo Esports, basically Yahoo, the media company that everyone knows about, wanted to enter esports through social medias. So I kickstart with Yahoo creating, social postings for Yahoo Esports Southeast Asia, covering games, news for such a big mainstream media brand. So that was where that was something that I was involved in as well. And then soon, fortunately enough, so now you can see I've been from the TO side. I tried out in the media side. I also went on to Galaxy Racer, who is also a sister company of Nigma Galaxy, the Dota 2 organization, to manage content creators as well as coming up with tournament events. So being in a TO again, and created own IP such as Gamers Galaxy to create content and marketing for it. And right now I'm with GosuGamers, back to doing media to create content for the community and to share it with the fans. So that's pretty much how my journey in esports came about.
Wow, Zoey, that's very diverse as well, right? So I think like lots of people in esports has like a very diverse career from like Nimish from game publisher, and then now jump into the event organizer. Neil from true gamers or pro players. We didn't know what to call before, right?
Yeah.
Is it like a pro gamers? Yeah. Well, to caster right now, and Zoey, gamer as well. Definitely Dota 2 fans as well, and now working professionally in the oldest gaming media, GosuGamers. Okay, so next question is gonna be for Nimish. So Nimish, as event organizer, how do you see the impact of esports beyond its competitive nature? Because you were mentioning before that our competitor is Netflix or other entertainment industry, right? So can you please elaborate more so everyone will understand what you meant?
Yeah, I would say a few years back, esports was possibly, and during the pandemic, like we realized this, right? Not a lot of new movies were getting released. Not a lot of new content was being produced because of the restrictions, and gaming events or esports kind of took the front seat when it came to viewership or when it came to entertainment. But as the world opened up now, as a esports fan or somebody who likes to watch competitive video games is also the person who likes to go watch movies, or is also the person who likes to go out with their friends, go to a bar or go to a concert or go to a fashion show. So what we realized very quickly at Nodwin is that the competition is no longer between a Dota and a League of Legends, or between a Counter-Strike or a Valorant, or between a PUBG Mobile and Mobile Legends Bang Bang. But it's going to be between the idea of watching competitive video games versus what else can I do? What else does a younger audience decide to do in their time? Do they decide to watch Netflix? Do they decide to go out to a concert? Do they decide to go shopping? Do they decide to go spend time in the movies? And which means whatever you do or whatever you do as a tournament organizer, you need to stand out and be able to drive the consumer, saying that instead of watching a movie, it's actually better to watch this tournament, or instead of, because now the consumer has started to compare esports watching to other sources of entertainment, because it is entertainment. While it's competitive video games, at the end of the day, if it's not entertaining, I'm not going to watch it. And if I'm not going to watch it, there is not going to be enough interest from brands and from media rights holders to actually grow this industry. And it's an ecosystem that needs to be taken care of and also kind of harvest it in the right way. And that's what I meant, where when I say the comparison with entertainment is something that you cannot avoid. It is something that's important, that needs to be done. And now that it's started in certain markets, it's very important for us to keep differentiating ourselves, so that when somebody has a choice for entertainment, esports is one of the options that will always pop at the top of their mind.
Okay, so maybe I can take a conclusion. So are you saying that when an event organizer, let's say like Nodwin, creating an esports tournament or esports event, it can't be just an esports event. It needs to have lots of entertainment factor in it as well, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, it needs to go beyond just being a tournament now, because the product needs to be entertaining. It needs to be something that stimulates the consumer in a manner that they would prefer that over something else. So it's not the people who are pure esports fans or people who will continue to watch are going to watch, but we need to convert people who don't watch on a regular basis or who have other options for entertainment to look at us as a pure source of entertainment. And again, and that's where the growth will happen, right? I think it's very important for us to now understand the numbers, understand that what these numbers mean to the rest of the ecosystem from a commercial perspective. And without that model, I'm going to say, then we are always going to be at the mercy of the publisher and how much money they're willing to spend. If you want to make this independent of how much the publisher spends on tournaments, then this needs to be an entertainment product.
Okay, interesting, and also very challenging and also difficult. I don't think it's an easy task, right? But definitely need to be done, correct? Okay, so when we're talking about entertainment, I have Neil here. Neil, I need you to help me answer this question. As a caster, when it comes to entertainment, what have you done differently, or what have you done during your casting time? Because definitely caster is also one of the most important element when it comes to entertainment in esports. So can you please answer and elaborate this based on your own experience, of course?
Yeah, I think it also goes to sorry, I'm not new yet. Okay, it goes to what Nimish was saying earlier. Like, esports has to branch out. It has to be, it has to go beyond the competitive narrative. Like, at the end of the day, it's entertainment. It's a form of media and content that people will consume because of what they want. And what they want from an esports tournament is, aside from the competitive nature of it, is the entertainment factor. And for us, that is actually something that we faced already with our our products. Like for MPL Philippines, we have faced problems like how do we engage more audience with this narrative? Like, it doesn't have to be just the competitive nature of the tournament. You have to go beyond, content creation. You have to go with a lot of marketing stuff, or you have to go do a lot of interviews with these players just to pull out some, interesting storylines. Because if this product is the same as it is 5 years ago, it wouldn't be, as good, because people would just naturally, be comfortable with it, and it will dull out at the end of the day. Like, it will not be interesting anymore after 3 or more years. And with our product, like for MPL, every season we keep on asking ourselves, how do we actually engage more viewers? How do we create more dynamic content? How do we pull out more interesting storylines? Because it has to change every season. We have to be responsive to how people people engage with content. Like, for example, back then in the pandemic times, competitive nature was at its peak. Like, people would watch esports because of the competitive nature of the industry, and because like Nimish said, there's not a lot of movies being produced during those times, and esports was the primary source of entertainment and media consumption. But after pandemic, we learned that people would be swayed into watching more films, watching more sports content, because it's more interesting, it's more dynamic, and it's more responsive to what is what is in demand right now. Like, if you are a fan of sports, NBA roster trades, stuff like that, those are really interesting. And people, even without basketball, like if it's off season, people would still talk about basketball. And those are the things that we picked up in our products, because again, at the end of the day, you have to be responsive to what the people want at the moment. So with us, we created more content outside of our own product, outside of the tournament. We streamlined a lot of marketing products that we shell out, because for MPL we only do it twice a year. Like it spans for 3 months, so in total we are only active for 6 months, and for the rest of the 6 months in a year we have to put out a lot of content. So specifically for the talents, we also do content creation even outside of our work scope. Like even if Munton does not tell us what to do, we do our own stuff. We create content, we push out these storylines, we interview players, we talk to them. So we go out of our own way just to be able to create more dynamics within our product. And even Munton, as a event organizer, they also plan ahead, like what are possible campaigns that we can do to engage more audience. And we have done a lot of amazing stuff for the past 2 years. Like even outside MPL, they're able to create more of these events, more of these content that naturally just engages more people to keep watching MPL. Because again, the problem that we are facing right now is traditional media is coming back. Netflix is again on the rise, and movies are being pumped out from a lot of different regions. So esports naturally would be sharing this space with a lot of its competitors, because it's not just sports at the moment. Like a lot of other media companies are also your competitors. So how do you keep your audience in check? How do you keep the interest going? And for us, again, it's a lot of off-season content, a lot of outside the product type of thing. And it's an interesting one because it teaches you to be always in a position of uncomfort. Like you have to know your market, you have to know your audience, and these things are really crucial in making a product viable and interesting for the esports audience. I think you're muted.
Okay, I'm mute. Okay, so yeah, I think based on your story and also your experience, I think I can make a conclusion that people who's be able to work in the industry is the people who needs to be agile, right? So they need to be able to keep changing. They cannot be just too comfortable, right? They need to keep track of the trends. They need to keep track of their community as well. And also, like what you do, you also create your own personal branding outside of what you do on the stage, right?
Yep.
So that's also going to have big impact to the industry itself, to the esports event itself, right? Okay, thank you, Neil. So Zoey, when we're talking about entertainment, so media, I believe, plays a huge role in helping the industry as well. So how has esports as a media outlet contributed to the broader gaming and also entertainment industry? Like what has GosuGamers done for the past years? And because like esports is changing throughout the years, the game is changing, the trends is changing. So as a media, what have you done?
Yeah, so maybe just to share, while I was once told, right, the E in esports, people know it as electronic sports, but the E can also stand for entertainment sports. So from a media standpoint, in the past, if you think of a news and media outlet, you would think of basically this website or this platform only sharing about news updates. But right now, through the years, with transitions, media companies are also becoming content production companies, setting up their own YouTube channels. And at the end of the day, the media's position is to actually connect the community and the fans with the pro players, because medias will get access to some of these pro players and pro teams, which you want to showcase a side of exclusivity that they don't get to watch on live streams from tournaments. And from tournaments itself, live stream, if you're just looking at the gameplay itself, it's quite unpredictable. Sometimes fans get entertained if there's something big things happening during the gameplays between several teams. But these content cannot be planned. That's also why, media companies, when we hit down to events, what we do differently is to secure exclusive interviews with fans, with players, with pro teams, with different stakeholders of the ecosystem, and to churn out very fun content that the community would like to see. Some community, they have a preference for a certain type of content, and you may not get to see it during the official live stream. But this is where media comes in. Media plays a part in connecting these communities with these pro teams to see another side of them. And as you know, something that we would do at GosuGamers is to ask fun and unrelated questions to gaming to see a more real side of these pro players. On competitive live streams, you would see, the most top tier side of them, being cool, being chilled, and giving their best. But what you don't see is maybe a sense of the humor, maybe getting to know them more in person, like what these pro players, what are their hobbies, what do they like to eat, what are they trying to do when they are not gaming, which is an aspect that GosuGamers is trying to cover as well, and I'm sure a lot of other media companies do that as well, to just give a different perspective as a form of entertainment to these communities and audiences.
Okay, so being updated and try to get different angle, right? Not only just one angle, but get lots of angle. I've been seeing lots of contents from GosuGamers as well, being engaged with lots of players, trying to challenge them, right? And creating like funny contents as well. Yeah, I think it is also very important for media to be able to show the different face of the players as well, right? It's gonna be very exciting. Okay, so when we're talking about esports, like everyone knows, it is covered with lots of stigma and skeptical thinkings from lots of people, especially from the older generations. So Nimish, as the event organizer, have you done something, or what have you done differently, or any tips for this, to minimize the negative stigma that has been going on throughout the generations for esports? So like in the future, it's gonna be an industry that has got the approval from the parents, especially in India, right? I heard that in India, gaming is not allowed, right? Like by most of the parents, because they're afraid that their kids will play too much.
Yeah, so we have some restrictions with obviously gambling is definitely banned in this country, and even on gaming, they want to make sure that people don't get addicted to the idea of playing video games all the time. And I think these rules do help to regulate and make sure that the industry moves forward in the right direction.
Okay, so regulation is very important for a country to make and to help the industry as well, right? How about you, Neil? Any takeout from you?
Well, here in the Philippines, we actually are able to, not control but improve the narrative of esports, because at the end of the day, we want to be able to create two things with the industry. Number one is interest. You already have that with a lot of these media platforms. Second is value. And I myself also were an organizer before. Technically, I'm an esports consultant. But most of the discussions that are laid out on the table is how do we create value for esports in this industry altogether. And you look at other industries as a primary source of example, and of course, being an esports industry, you have to look at sports. And the way you create value is by improving the narrative with a lot of integration in what is commonly accepted today. Like with sports, you have basketball, who are offering a lot of opportunities for kids to be able to hone their skills, be able to excel at their career, while also getting opportunities with schools. And in the Philippines, we're in a very good spot right now because a lot of the entities here that work on improving the industry altogether has a lot of bright ideas, and we have been able to be partnered with a lot of schools at the moment. Some of these schools are even offering workshops, seminars, and I think there's already one school who is offering a curriculum, and there is one school, one upcoming school who will offer scholarships for esports athletes. And I think that's where that's where we are headed right now, and I think that's the right track, because again, you have to create value from the industry, and esports as an industry is a major source of entertainment alongside sports. But I think the value that comes in from esports, which will help alleviate this skepticism from a lot of the older generation people, is how does esports actually help the younger, the new gens basically. And I think again, sports has a very good track record of proving that this is the way to go, like offer opportunities, be able to help them in their development, be able to help them establish a career while not sacrificing their their time in school, while not sacrificing education, and making sure that this career leads to something else. And I think that's where the Philippines is currently at the moment. We are in a process of creating value in the end game. And when I say that, these values are like looking for demanding positions. Like we are in a position of creating jobs for students that will graduate 3 years from now, because currently we are in the first year of having an esports course in our country, and 3 years from now these graduates will have to look for jobs. And Philippines is in the current situation, we are able to accommodate more people that want to be in this industry. And I think 5 to 10 years from now, we will be able to create more value for for esports altogether. And yeah, I think that's where we are headed at the moment, and that's that's, I think, is the best option for esports as of the moment, to help with a lot of this negative stigma that is associated usually with esports. Because as a gamer myself, I know that these problems are real, they're genuine. Like, parents will tell you not to sit in front of a computer all day playing games, but we also have a lot of narratives here in the Philippines where pro players are actually breadwinners of these families. And I think that's where we excel at, fleshing out these narratives for for the parents to actually appreciate and acknowledge. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. And I hope that we are 5 years from now we are able to do more aside from that. But it is where we are at the moment, and I think that's a good thing.
All right, that's such a great explanation. So education is one way to pursue that as well, right, Neil? Okay, so Zoey, since you're in the media, what role do media professionals play in shaping the narratives and perception of esports, especially, about the stigma, the bad stigma, and also the skepticism?
I think someone is speaking.
Yeah, I think someone forgot to mute. Okay.
Yeah, so like what you mentioned, right? I think a lot of this skepticism actually comes from the lack of education amongst the older generations, like your boomers and Gen X, because back in school days, there's always this negative association to gaming, because once you're gaming, there's a potential chance that you're addicted to it. Your grades are also affected by it, and you lose your focus of what you're supposed to be, which is at that point probably to be a student, do well in school. And especially in Asia, if you grew up in a traditional Asian household, the chances are that your parents are not very agreeable to what gaming is. At the same time, they also don't really understand what gaming is. I think a lot of parents think that oh, if you want to pursue a career in esports or gaming, you're gonna become a pro gamer. You're gonna be playing games every day, 24/7, and that's for the rest of your life. I think a lot of them don't understand that, be it whatever industry, even if it's the esports and gaming industry, there are so many different roles behind each company out there. You can be in a pro team, you can be in a media outlet, you can be in a tournament organizers, but you don't necessarily have to be the gamer there. So, there are marketing, content creation, BD, sales. You can be a video producer, graphic designer. The opportunities are just endless. And from a media standpoint, I think what can help is also and what's something that GosuGamers is doing, as well as our CEO strongly believes in educating, going out to schools to educate parents, getting all these people working in esports to head down to schools, give talks to actually let them understand that, working in the esports industry is more than just being a gamer. Like, you are more than just you're just not just a pro gamer, you're just more than that. You can also be like a live stream broadcaster. There are esports industries careers also hires accountants. So it's more of really getting all these parents to understand that, okay, if I really want my son or daughter to pursue a degree in finance, to be an accountant, he or she can also be an accountant in the esports industry. He or she can also be a HR in this industry as well. So it's not just limited to, if she's going to the esports industry, that's doomed for the career. So this is something that I feel that requires education, and from the media standpoint, it's something that I believe it can be, this word can be spread further to educate all the parents or the older generation, to let them know that, we can remove the stigma behind it.
All right, thank you so much, Zoey. So yeah, I think and I believe that all the stakeholders in esports need to work together in order to banish the stigma and also the skepticism that the older generation or everyone else that doesn't know about the industry has, right? So it is very important for us to work together and, to educate and to let them know that this industry has some very, very potential in the futures. Oh, and anyway, Nimish, you need to leave in a couple of minutes, right? But let me shoot you one last question from the participant we have here. So it's actually a very interesting one. So esports has a rapidly growing industry with new talent emerging constantly. And how do you keep an eye on rising stars and up and coming teams? So it's from Hwang Lin Tun. Thank you for your question. Nimis, maybe you want to help answer this question before you left, because it's already 5 a.m. there. Because, as an event organizer, you will see lots of talents, rising stars coming in and out, right? Are you still there? I'm wondering if he's still here or not. Okay, maybe Neil, can you help me answer the question?
Yeah, I think it's mostly it mostly concerns tournament organizers and esports entities, and I feel like it differs from different regions, differs from every different organizations, because the strategy in place is always going to be different. And I feel like for other countries such as Philippines and Indonesia, we have a very good understanding of how we actually scout talents. Because unlike sports, we're not at the point where there's a big franchise where everybody's looking to play in it. And currently, we are focused more on looking at the grassroots stage of esports, which I think is still at its infancy stage. Because most of the times when you look at esports teams and when you look at teams that actually have high achievements, most of them are veterans. And it's only recent that we started accepting more of young bloods, more of these fresher talents. And I think Indonesia and Philippines excel at that, because we are always on the lookout for fresher and younger players. And that and the reason why I said tournament organizers are also involved in this is because it's their responsibility to create platforms such as tournaments to regulate the influx of these players, to be able to create more opportunities for younger players to emerge. And that is also one of the reasons why divisions and classifications of amateur and professional players are very, very important, because you wouldn't want professional players playing in a tournament with a lower reward just to be able to play, because that will mean gatekeeping more of these fresher talents. And I think we have done a fantastic job over the years of creating platforms for professional players and creating platforms for amateur players, while also creating more platforms for those casual aspirants, because we have a lot of tournaments. I've seen a lot of tournaments over the past 2 years where you wouldn't really see professional names there, because it's mostly catering the communities. Like even UniPin, for example, they have done a lot of tournament work that caters for different classes. We have female leagues, we have leagues that are meant for the amateur players, and we have daily tournaments that are ongoing. And most of these professional and amateur players wouldn't really be participating on that, because again, these caters for a different class of esports aspirants. And well, to directly answer the question, the system is already there. The system is in place, and I think it's being regulated by a lot of fantastic organizations, fantastic entities, and they have been able to do their jobs and have been able to perform their responsibilities of keeping this this industry alive by introducing fresh ideas, fresh talents, and of course fresh products for the industry to enjoy, while also not letting of the fact that we are an inclusive an inclusive industry. And what we do is we cater for every specific classes: professional, amateur, even the casual aspirants, and even female leagues. And yeah, I think we are already in a place where that shouldn't be a problem. And I think, to answer the question, those are the systems that are in place. We have done an amazing job to regulate that, and I hope that we keep doing an amazing job in the next few years.
Okay, so yeah, I hope it's answered your question. Maybe Zoey, you want to add something to that? Because as a media, when there are like new players, it's definitely a new content, right? So definitely as a media, you need to be sharp enough to spot it, a new talent. Like for example, during Dota scene, like in Bali Major, Quest, which is people doesn't really know who are they, but they did pretty well, right? So there are like lots of new players coming in, newcomers, and how do you spot that?
Yeah, so definitely from the media standpoint, we do support all these new rising stars as well as amateurs. So that's one of the reasons why GosuGamers actually collaborated with UniPin this year to be their official media partner for UniPin Ladies Series. This is also one of the reasons that we want to encourage to give coverage on these girls who are stepping up to play in the competitive scene, and to encourage that we are supportive of it. So I think this is something that most media, if not all, have is something that they try to do, because even though the women's scene in esports can be quite small, but if this is the only scene that we have, we want to do what we can to support, even a bit or a little or even a lot. So even when it comes to the pro scene, all these rising stars, maybe at the start, we will just cover without any biasness in any sense that, we only want to cover the popular ones. We would give chances, opportunities to also want to cover these rising stars, because now some of your most popular pro players, they were once the rising stars back then. So it's the same for like what Debora has mentioned in Bali Major. There was a up and coming dark horses. People don't even know who they were, Quest Esports. GosuGamers was there to cover, to interview them, and then, to talk to them, young, fresh faces. No one has seen about them. I'm sure a lot of people are curious as to where did they come from, how are they, performing so well. And as a media standpoint, you don't want to miss out on any opportunities on this, because content is content, news is news. Be it how popular they are. Even if they are not popular now, and one day they become popular, some of these backlogs, YouTube videos, news articles, people will start searching for them to find out their history of where they started and their humble beginnings.
Okay, Zoey, news is news, content is content. So there are two different things, right? Okay, so let's just move to the next question because it's almost 1 hour. Okay, so sometimes from Dito, hello Dito, sometimes toxic behavior in some game communities deters new players to keep playing and follow esports events. Do you, as someone who is in this industry, feel that it is your responsibility to change this toxic behavior? And if so, how are you doing it? Nail, as someone who, always on the stage, becoming the caster, do you advocate your do you feel that it is your responsibility to help create a more positive community?
Yeah, I think my primary job as a caster is to be responsible, and there's this thing we call responsible broadcasting, wherein you don't actually have to do these things because maybe you want hype, but the way we do it is we do it without hurting the image, the brand, or the product. Like, we have to make sure that everything that we do always is painted in a positive light. And some of these stuff, like especially with us as casters, we have a lot of workshops, we have a lot of broadcasting seminars wherein we are taught how to do responsible broadcasting, how to do positive scripting, because at the end of the day, you are talking to an audience that can easily be influenced, especially having a demographic of a huge demographic of 18 years old and below. You have to be responsible with how you tell our stories. Like, you have to remove some of the negativity. You are required to not be hateful, because these things promote unhealthy behavior with a lot of our audience. So I think our job as a caster, primarily our responsibility, is to make sure that we are delivering the best quality of content and entertainment possible without introducing hate. But and the reality of the situation is, much like sports, esports will always have sides, two different sides, and I think it's healthy. But there's a difference between healthy engagement and unhealthy engagement. Healthy engagement is where two fan base are fighting against each other because for the love of who they are cheering for. Unhealthy engagement is where people will just start calling out each other, and those are where those things that's where we come in. Like, we promote healthy engagement between our communities. We promote interesting storylines. We even hype rivalries, but we don't initiate fights. And I think that's our main responsibility as broadcasters and as stakeholders of esports. Yeah, we do feel some sort of responsibility for shaping up this industry, and we are holding our end to at our best ability to make sure that we don't promote that behavior. Because at the end of the day, what we want is a positive industry. What we want is a healthy environment where people could come in. Because again, we as an esports advocate, we are always saying to other people that esports is an inclusive industry, and our main responsibility is to make sure that across these years, esports remains healthy and remains positive in treating its hostile environment. Because again, it is very much like sports. Some people will be hostile, but it is our responsibility to promote healthy and positive behavior.
Okay, so once you are in the industry, especially as someone who's working and shaping the industry itself, it is definitely our responsibility to shape this industry into more positive industry. And media also play a huge part. Zoey, as a media, do you feel that it is also your responsibility?
To a certain extent, yes, because as a media point of view, when there are toxic behaviors, displayed by pro players, we don't spare it. If it's called out, media would cover it, because a lot of these young children, they treat all these pro players as their idols, and we definitely don't want this to be a bad example to it. At the same time, from the media side of things, at least for GosuGamers, what we have been venturing is also talking about gamers' mental health, because all these toxic behaviors, end of the day, it either stems from a very weak mental health state, or it would affect someone else's mental health. So from media, that's why pro teams, people, they tend to behave, because they are afraid of being covered, all these negative news being covered by media. As a media, we are very neutral. So if it's a good news, we cover. If it's a bad news, we also cover as well. And these are organizations are also very scared to have bad publicity going out of their players. That's why sometimes when players establish toxic behaviors, or they're on social medias talking negative stuff, they do get punishments and penalties as well. And even I would say that this responsibility is not just from the media's end, even for tournament organizers. It's even for a pro cup or an amateur cup, right? It's all written in the rules. It's all stated in the rules. If you are rude, you exhibit trash talk, or to a certain extent even making very rude remarks, you can be banned from playing the tournament, and you can be banned from the game. So this is something that I would feel like every stakeholder within the ecosystem come together to fight this toxic behaviors off, because from game publisher end, you get the report button in game to report someone who is exhibiting that toxic behavior towards you. From media side, you cover whoever that is not nice and of a certain status. And then from tournament organizer side, you have the right as the admin, as the organizer, to bar people from playing if they are being rude or offensive. So I think this is something that we have already is in progress, and obviously it can be done better.
Okay, talking about racism, I think it happened like couple of weeks ago, right? There's like a player from one esports team talking racist to other esports team in one big esports scene, and then that player got banned. I think that could be such a great example for other players as well. So esports industry doesn't tolerate racism, right? So we want to be inclusive, we want to be positive, because when an industry is inclusive and also supporting all the positive behavior, it is also great for the industries, because then the brands that sponsors all the events, all the advertisement, everything, will be more than happy to be in the industries, because we have such a positive industries. Yeah, I hope you guys are agree with that. And yeah, definitely it is our responsibility as a stakeholder, because we have the power. We also know how to do it. And like Neil, he even like on the stage talking right away, giving example to those youngsters on how to to talk in a good manners, right, Neil? You cannot talk bad things while you cast, right?
Yeah. We are prohibited from saying a lot of things.
Yeah, that's such a great example. Okay, so another question. I think Linton is very, very exciting about this webinar, because he asked so many questions, and yeah, I think I still have some other time, some more time before I'm going to explain about the career path in UniPin itself, because UniPin right now is a global company. We are just not big in Southeast Asia, but we already expand all over the globe. We are available in India, we are available in Turkey, we even available in Brazil. So yeah, we expand a lot this year, and that's why we also would like to tell everyone, the community, maybe you're somewhere in the part of the world where UniPin exists and you guys are looking for jobs. Maybe there are like some slots that is available for you guys there. So before I continue with the next question, let's see the video from UniPin representatives that has been taken for special for this event. So okay, I think we can start to watch the video.
Hi everyone, my name is Igor. I'm a business manager here at UniPin Brazil. I joined this year, 2023.
My name is Niedi, and I joined in 2019 as an administrative assistant for UniPin Myanmar.
My name is Giancarlo Caro, and I'm the marketing manager of UniPin Philippines since 2021.
Hi, my name is Parveen Kamal Devra. I've been working with UniPin India since 2021 as a senior executive admin and operations.
I'm Chu Peng, marketing manager from Malaysia. I joined UniPin around last May.
My name is Kaan. I joined to UniPin at January 2023 as the marketing manager of Turkey.
So my work is related to being the person responsible for developing our businesses here in Brazil.
Mostly, I help with business development in Myanmar region and also work for customer service in UniPin Myanmar.
As a marketing manager, it is my task to conceptualize and implement marketing strategies and marketing plans.
My work allows me to have the unique opportunity to be immersed in the dynamic world of gaming while supporting the daily operations of the company.
My job will be to oversee campaigns between game publishers and also internal marketing.
As the manager of marketing operations, I feel responsible for every decision.
Is that as a gamer myself, I'm in an environment where I'm also with like-minded individuals who also enjoy playing games and be in an environment where gaming is involved and also in esports.
The main reason I love UniPin is that all the staff are very kind and helpful to me. Even if I have some difficulties, they are always behind me. So I love being part of this team.
Additionally, being part of a gaming industry means you're surrounded by very passionate and energetic individuals.
Is that it gives me a chance to work in the gaming industry as I am, like all of you, a gamer at heart.
I worked for global companies before, which had extreme corporate rules and old-fashioned habits.
Relying on so many people from so many different regions and being able to fully count on them.
Is offline events. Every time there's an offline event, it's nice to see other like-minded individuals who are gamers or esports players, and it's a chance for me to catch up with them and have a great time with fellow players. It's an awesome experience, and I do thank UniPin for making it possible for me.
So far was being able to attend Big Festival a few weeks ago, which is an event where we can network with many companies in the region.
When I started working for UniPin, I have to go around other companies to meet and discuss collaboration with UniPin,
who share a common love and interest for games and creativity. So far, it's been a great learning and a great journey.
Just reached out to me and made compliments about the moment of UniPin in Turkish gaming and esports industry.
Learn a hard skill that's very used in this industry, right? So working in the gaming space, in the esports industry, there are many different areas in which you can join and be a professional there.
Just to be passionate and make sure that you love what you're doing. Because when you love what you're doing, you're actually having fun.
You might want to start joining your university, e-games, esports, or even gaming clubs to start with.
So being part of their team allows me to be at the forefront of the gaming revolution in the country that is going on.
Gaming industry may not be easy for everyone, but according to my experience, I only want to say one thing, and that is I never regret working in this industry, and I love every second of it.
And that's the one and only way to be in the position in this industry that you have dreamed of. Just gain lots of experience.
So yeah, that's the video. I hope you guys inspired by it. And yeah, in UniPin, we are very inclusive. We don't see you based on gender, religions, whatever. We just see you as a person who love gaming and esports and want to grow with us. Also to grow the industry, esports, and also gaming industries. And I think it's also awesome. This year is gonna be my third year in UniPin. Time has flies very, very quickly. Yeah. Actually, yeah, it is also, like my very first professional job in gaming and esports industry is also with UniPin. So yeah. Anyway, goes to the next question. Next question is gonna be, I think it is very specific for each one of you. Neil and also Zoey, maybe for Zoey as well. Zoey first. Esports has been increased recognition from mainstream media and traditional sports. How do you view the relationship between esports and traditional sports, and where do you see this connection heading in the future as a media?
From a media standpoint, I'm not sure if you guys have seen a lot of news, which is a lot of these traditional sportsmen, right, are actually venturing into esports. Like, David Beckham has his own esports company. Recently, one of the Liverpool players actually signed and created his own esports company. All of these traditional sportsmen are entering into esports, and I wouldn't be surprised in the upcoming years in more of these, your NBA teams, your FIFA teams, they actually have an esports team as well. So they are sportsmen to represent traditional sports, but at the same time they also pick up players in the esports scene or pick up teams to represent themselves, their branding into the Gen Zs, to the millennials in through esports. So for example, I've worked with this person with his name. He used to be an ex-Manchester United player, but he himself is also interested to come out with his own esports consultancy team. So even if this steps comes from the sportsmen, right, and these sportsmen have a lot of following from their fans and players, it's getting known to all these to their fans, like, hey, why are they venturing into esports? What's this esports thing about? And recently, I'm not sure if you guys heard of the Olympic Esports Week that was held in Singapore last month. Although the game titles played during this Olympic Esports Week, right, isn't your traditional, your normal esports game titles like Dota 2, it was actually like virtual archery, just dance, virtual taekwondo. But I would say it's like one of the first steps that these mainstream traditional sports, they are actually trying to include esports as part of it. I'm pretty sure the older generation of people working, it's not so easily acceptable to them, or they don't really understand what esports is. But I would say like it's one of the first steps. Who knows, the next Olympic Esports Week, or we get to see more of these traditional esports game titles. Currently, with the upcoming Hangzhou Asian Games, right, they have also included esports inside, as well as SEA Games. And SEA Games has been going on for quite several editions that they included esports as part of it. So it's becoming more inclusive, and esports players are also awarded by gold, silver, bronze accordingly, and to represent their nationality. And with that being said, right, so certain countries, when they achieve a gold medal, it is also recognized by their nation's mainstream media, So this is something that we have seen mainstream media picking up as well, not just esports media, because being whatever gold medal it is from, it is still a gold medal for the country. So this is where I see the relationship of, esports and traditional sports. It's coming together, but there's still a long way to go, but there's a connection and people are linking it up, and it has already started.
Yeah, I see lots of esports team also own a basketball team or even soccer team as well. So I think it is really, emerging into real sports, right? And yeah, so I hope it answered your question. So last question is gonna be for Neil. What advice would you give to aspiring hosts or shoutcasters looking to enter the esports industry?
This is gonna be more direct because honestly, at this point in the stage, being a shoutcaster is all about making connections. It's all about networking. And what I usually advise to my peers in the field is go to events, go do some networking, meet a lot of people, hone your craft, and don't mind the compensation at first, because like what the video told us earlier, you just need to gain a lot of experience, because this industry at this point is really looking to inviting more people in. And as a shoutcaster, I know that there's a lot of tournaments happening. You mostly see the same faces, but we are in a state of in esports where people are coming in, and some people are phasing out naturally, because a lot of the people that you see sometimes they go towards the back end, or they do more corporate stuff, and there's always a space for newcomers in the field. And again, it's all about making these connections. It's all about meeting people in events, telling them that if you are a shoutcaster, tell them that you are a shoutcaster. You never know who might contact you. Go message some Facebook pages there. Go message some people that work at esports organizations, some tournament organizers. Because what you want to be able to do is put your name out there and make sure that people notice you. And all you need is just one platform. All you need is one event, one platform, one job, one shoutcast, and you can use that to create a portfolio, shoot your shot with another client, message more people saying that you already have some background in doing this, and you build up on that to a point where you establish a credible career, and major players will start noticing, like maybe major tournaments in your region, your local your local scene, your community. They will start noticing, and they will start hearing your name, and that credibility will help you build an amazing portfolio, and you will reach a point where major organizers will start looking at your direction. Maybe we should get this guy. So again, it's all about networking. It's all about portfolio building, but you have to shoot your shot. And don't worry, we were at this point. We were at that point back in 2016, where we are desperate enough to look for jobs, where we message a lot of organizers, we message a lot of Facebook pages, we email a lot of people that we actually don't know, but you just shoot your shot. And once you get that shot, if you are able to get that one gig, you build up on it, you get a second gig, you get the third gig, you utilize that portfolio to shoot yourself into a bigger platform, a bigger opportunity, and a bigger stage. So again, networking, really important. Putting yourself out there, and of course building a brand. Build your brand, build your tone, build your image. It's a different conversation altogether, that you have to make sure that whoever you are presenting, it's who you are. So because a lot of the shoutcasters I know, they're just copying some of their idols, and funnily enough, their idols are still here, and these shoutcasters are not, because at the end of the day, organizers are hiring people based on who they are, like what value do you bring to the table. So again, networking, putting yourself out there, and of course branding yourself. Those are my three main points if you want to be able to enter this line of work.
Wow, that's very direct, very straightforward, and Very true. Yeah, totally agree with that because I'm also a tournament organizer, and when I see, like new casters trying to get inside, some of them can be very stingy. Like they ask for like high paycheck, but they're like very new. I was like, okay, with that paycheck, I could pay Nail. Of course, I will. I will choose you instead of some newcomers, right? So yeah, I think that's the fact. And don't forget to do networking wherever you are. And the most important thing is that you need to maintain your positive image, right? Because none of the event organizer or brands want to work with such a toxic person. Okay, so yeah, that's the end of the question. It's very exciting, and really thank you so much for 3 of you. But I know Nimish is already gone somewhere because he's been traveling around the States with his motorcycle, his something. Yeah, I hope next time, one day maybe you guys can, see each other in person and talk, like directly, because every one of you here, Nimis, Nail, Zoe, you guys are very amazing. You guys are very, very great in what you do. And it is a pleasure for me and also UniPin to have you here celebrating our 12th anniversary. It is such a long journey for us, and having you guys here, it's adding to the excitement. So yeah, thank you so much, and thank you so much for all the participants that's already come here and decided to watch this, adding more knowledge into your brain. And that's the end of our session, and have a good time everyone, and see you at another session. Thank you. Bye everyone. Bye Zoe. Bye Neil.